11th year here at the Edukick Manchester Academy. We started back in 2006 with the first intake of a few players. At that time we were based over in Blackburn, linked to the football club, the then Premier League football club Blackburn Rovers. We had 2 years over there. And then we moved the programme up to Bolton, was linked in with Bolton Wanderers Football Club, again Premier League football club, and we were based there for 4 years before we moved here to the centre of Manchester. The first year here in Manchester we were linked with Manchester City, their development coaches, and since then we've started with our own coaches here, delivering at the Edukick coaches, delivering on the programme and the teaching here in the school, the International House. The benefits of not being linked now to one of those football clubs is we can now work with lots of different football clubs at all different levels. So our players, when they come to the programmes here at Edukick, they get exposed to coaches and sessions and games from the top level. So from Premier League, you know, you've got your major clubs, the two Manchester clubs right on our doorstep here, right down to the semi-professional clubs and the non-league clubs. So it really gives us a lot more opportunity to showcase the players across different levels. The aim of the academy here in Manchester, and always has been on the Edukick Manchester, is to bring together football and education for international students in the UK. Football here in England is a massive sport, and it's seen around the world as the pinnacle place to be for football. But anybody who comes, and the aim is that they get a full understanding of football here in the UK, not just what they see on telly, but the coaching, how physical it is, what goes on behind the scenes of football clubs, so not just on the pitch, behind the scenes, but also to give them the underpinning education. You know, we're honest with all the players when they come over, and all the students, that not many players will make it at that top level to be playing in the Premier League. So they have their education, whether that be English language for some students to be able to go on to university courses, or the BTEC programme in sport, which very much ties in with the football side of things, so that they have a better understanding, so that they've got something else to fall back onto in their education. But overall, the main aim of the programme is to give every single student and player a full understanding of football here in the UK with an education. And every single player that comes through goes back a better player, a fitter player, with a huge understanding of football here in the UK. The opportunities for the boys on the programme here, well, the opportunities come on a regular basis, starting at a low level just from our coaches that are out there on the pitch and the connections that they have in the game, again at all levels. You know, they coach at professional clubs, they work with semi-professional clubs alongside working and coaching on the programme here, so they can recommend players on. So all the time when they're in sessions with us, they're being watched. We then link in with UK football trials, so at least twice a year the boys go on to the UK football trials, where they're seen by scouts from all different levels, and the aim of that is maybe on the first UK football trial, they'll get to understand what it's all about, they'll get to find their level, because they'll be playing against players from Manchester, from the UK, who want that same spot as them. And then when they go back, they've got a good understanding of what the trial day is all about, so they can then focus on, can they be seen above some of these other players? Can they really showcase themselves? Again, as we go through the course, we play lots of different teams, college teams, academies, local teams, touring teams, and every time they play one of those teams, whether the boys know it or understand it or are aware of it, the majority of the time is the visiting coaches and staff are all linked to some professional or semi-professional club, so they're always on the lookout for players. We invite scouts down to our games, and we invite scouts down to analyse the players in games. I think the players have had feedback from one of those scouts who's done a match analysis on the boys in the past. So all of these are little opportunities for them as they're going through on the playing side, and every time they step out on the pitch, they're being watched, they're being assessed, if it's not by our coaches but by some of the external coaches and some of the professional clubs. Being established for the number of years that we have, we're known by quite a lot of the professional clubs and the scouts and the semi-professional clubs, so they do send people along just to keep an eye on the players and to watch them. Off the pitch, there's opportunities as well. You know, the aim of the programme is to give them a whole round view of football. So we get guest speakers in, along with guest coaches who'll see them. We get guest speakers into the classrooms to talk to them about the football business and what else goes on, and then we also help to try and progress the boys through into further education and coaching routes, so that they can understand that it's not just about playing. If they don't make it as a player here in the UK or back home, there's a lot more options within the game. Success stories from the programme. We've had many success stories at all different levels. Starting right from when we were back in Bolton, we had a few of the players that went on to trial with the academy. Up there we had one of the goalkeepers that went to play with Stockport County, so that's going back 8 to 9 years. Since we moved up into Manchester, we've had a lot of players that have gone on to trial at professional clubs, Crewe Alexandra, Blackburn Rovers, Manchester City, Bury, Everton. So we've had players that have gone in and trialled and trained for a length of time with these clubs. We've had a player that signed with Derby County, goalkeeper, a few years ago signed and spent a year as a youth player with the under-18s with Derby County before going back to Germany and playing at a good level. We've had players that have gone back to their countries and they've represented their country on a national level at under 21s, under 18s, under 19s. And we've also had many players that have gone on to further education, have come back to universities here in Manchester or back home. Off the pitch, we've had players that have set up their own business in coaching, and we've had one of the players that actually went off and he's got his coaching badges through the experience he's had here, and he came back and he did 2 years actually working for us on the programme as one of our assistant coaches. So we've had lots of successes, and that's great to see from the programme. The key success of the academy, we're very professional in everything that we do. We run the academy along exactly the same lines as any professional club academy, and the key to it is the staff that we have on here, the discipline that they show with the players, and the communication that they have with the players and the honesty that they have with the players. So tying that in with the education and the football on the pitch and the whole round package, that's sort of the key to the success of the programme. Future developments of the Edukick Academy here in the UK, well, we're always changing. Obviously we moved from Blackburn to Bolton up into Manchester, the home of English football, But we're always evolving, and the most recent development is the new boarding school option, the private school option. Currently here in the centre of Manchester, the programme, over 18s can look at self-catering accommodation and come on the programme. Anybody underneath that age stays with the host family. We had a lot of inquiries for people who wanted the boarding school style option, the private school with residences and everything on one site, and we've linked in with Ellesmere College, a fantastic private boarding school over in Shropshire that's got world-class facilities and is at a World Academy of Sport status, only one I think of 8 in the world. So from September 2017 we'll be kicking off our what we call the Junior Academy for ages 12 right up to 18. Everything on site there, it's residential, it's got great sporting facilities, it's got education from GCSE, A-level, International Baccalaureate. So that's the next stage, as well as still offering the city centre option here with the homestay. We'll be offering that private school option, which will just offer everything for the players. So we're constantly evolving. Following on from that, the next stage is looking into the girls and the women's game. It's a massive growing development here in the UK. It always has been. So we'll be looking at offering a women's option as we move forward.